Hey guys, this is God of Goel, Northeast DeKalb vascular agronomist again. We are in the middle of the chopping season almost, and you guys have worked hard to select the best hybrid, to do everything you could in the season to make sure you had the best silage. Now it's the time to get that best silage out of the field and store it in whether it's the bunkers or whatnot. So I'm interviewing Joe Lawrence, who is a part of Pro Dairy team at Kernel. I have interviewed him in the past as well on different topics on silage. I'm picking his brain on what things you should consider when you're chopping silage. So welcome, Joe, again. We know harvest timing is really critical, especially for making sure that you have the best quality and tonnage. How would you put it in your own words for our customers?
Thanks for having me today. And I'll start with whole plant dry matter. That's still really our best indicator of harvest timing. And most generally agree that 35% dry matter is our optimum target, but we often talk about a range of 32 to 38% dry matter depending on the storage type. While it's still pretty labor intensive, chopping up a sample and drying it in a coster tester, microwave, or food dehydrator is still really our best method for determining dry matter. There are some NIR units on the market now that are gaining popularity for tracking dry matter, but proper calibration is critical for these, and I would still suggest double checking their readings by drying down some samples with something like a coster tester.
Joe, you talked about sample. What would you recommend people considering when they are taking a good sample?
Just like any scouting, it is good to collect your sample from the entire field. On average, a random selection of 5 to 7 plants is likely to get you within plus or minus 1% of the actual whole field average dry matter. If a field is variable, you may want to grab a few more stalks. And be sure to cut the stalks at the same height you plan to chop at.
Let me switch gears a little bit. So we know that kernel processing is important, especially for making that kernel starch available to the cow. So give us your 2 cents on kernel processing. What do you think?
Pre-harvest maintenance is certainly important. However, in-season monitoring is the real key to assuring adequate processing of every ton of silage that you produce. A recent study we conducted with funding from the New York Farm Viability Institute showed the importance of adjusting the processor to account for changes in hybrid stature, like ear to stover ratio and the ear dry matter during the season. Assigning someone on the harvest crew to routinely monitor processing throughout each day of harvest is very effective in catching changes in processing performance.
So let's say a guy has chopped silage. He's ready to put it in storage bins, whether it's bunkers or bags or whatnot. And we know that packing and density of that silage is very important, especially for excluding the oxygen for the bacteria to work. What are your recommendations on packing and density? I mean, what do you recommend to the customers?
On an as-fed basis, 45 pounds per cubic foot is considered the minimum density needed, and I've seen farms successfully achieve over 50 pounds per cubic foot. Really, the higher the better. Factors that have the biggest impact on achieving high packing densities include matching packing weight to silage delivery rate and getting really thin layers as you're packing.
So you talked about packing weight a little bit, and so tell us more about that, and also how would one determine if packing weight is matching delivery rate?
The rule of 800 is most commonly used. This refers to the idea that 800 pounds of packing weight is needed per ton of silage delivered per hour, and this will help you achieve the minimum densities. So if 100 tons per hour is delivered to the bunk, you would want a minimum of 80,000 pounds or 40 tons of packing weight. Also keep in mind that the tractor responsible for pushing forage onto the pile should not have 100% of its weight credited towards the total needed.
So guys, hope you can use these tips in your silage chopping. Please be alert, be safe, as this is very busy time of the year. I look forward to another good silage season. Thank you for watching.